This was a terrible idea. So I've been toying around with the idea of this challenge. It's been on my to-do list, bucket list. It's finally the weekend, and I don't know how this is gonna go. I don't know if this is going to be absolutely miserable, but the reason I am choosing to do this 12-hour writing challenge in one day is because I feel like I am so close to the end of my first draft. Which feels so nice, but it's just looming. I still see like a really good chunk of work that needs to be done. And I just feel ready to move on to the next section, to start working on revision and developmental edits, and cringe at my writing because my brain keeps thinking about like, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do this? But I haven't actually finished the first draft yet. So we are getting down to business today. So how are we gonna do this? Because I am not going to make myself write for 12 hours straight, because that's insane. I did say I was going to do this all in one day, mostly because that is just the time that I know I have this week. My favorite was how Alyssa in the books did this challenge, where she just had to write at least a little bit every hour in the 12-hour time span. That sounds like max productivity. That sounds like good balance. It sounds healthy. So that's what we're gonna do. We have to write at least once every hour. It might be 5 minutes, it might be 10 minutes, it might be the full hour. We might just go straight into the next hour too. I'm not gonna force myself to take breaks. We're just gonna see how this goes, make it very natural, but also productive. I don't know why or how I got through that first writing session without coffee. Oh, that's so much better. So for my first sleepy hour of 5 minutes of writing to ease into the day, I only wrote for 5 minutes, 125 words. It'll be a nice place to come back to in the next hour when I start writing again. Couple chunks of chapters that I've just been kind of dragging my feet on. I don't know why I'm not feeling particularly inspired to write them, but there are also scenes that I'm super excited to write. And in the beginning of writing this book, I was jumping around. I wasn't writing chronologically. I went and wrote the beginning scenes that I had in my head. I went and wrote the end, and now I'm just stuck on the middle bit, which is, a little difficult for me. If you've been keeping up with my other videos, my journey so far, if you're new, I've never written the middle of a book before, so it's a big deal. So I think today will be a really good marathon. It's just me blocking out my time so I can just think about my book, and I won't be so stressed out about low word count during certain writing hours. And I just think it's gonna be good. It'll be a good way to build up the writing muscle. Alrighty, it's 11 o'clock, so it's time for a little writing update. Definitely had a slow start to the morning. It is Sunday and it's been a busy week, so like all I really wanted to do was have a slow Sunday. But I was able to get myself out of bed, got myself writing, had a really low word count, had another really low word count. I think I only wrote for like 5 minutes at 8 o'clock, and then went and made breakfast, ate breakfast, had some coffee, wrote for about 20 minutes in the 9 o'clock hour, got coffee, and then wrote for the full hour during 10 o'clock. And that was a little more productive and more on par with what I normally write. So that 10 o'clock hour, my word count was 738. But I guess if we're writing all day, it doesn't really matter. Like, I'm more interested in how many words I'm going to put out at the end of the day. But we're making good progress. Like, I found some good flow, and I'm happy with what's being put on the page, I should say. I'm really excited to talk more in a future video with you guys, more about the genre and tropes in my book. I've been keeping quiet as possible, and just keeping it broad to, like, there is fantasy and there is romance in this book. I don't want to go into too many details until I write my blurb, which I feel like I have. I think it's ready, sitting in the back of my head, but I told myself I wasn't going to write it until I finished the first draft, because I just wanted to see how the story was going to evolve and change, which in terms of change, it has definitely been more on the side of evolving, evolution. It's really cool to see the ideas that have just like spread and taken flight and been given life as I've been writing this. I'm really enjoying this day. I think I get in my head a little bit about writing when I'm trying to squeeze it in and I feel like I don't have time, but I've literally blocked out this whole day to do nothing but write for this 12-hour challenge. And it's nice and I'm having fun and it feels a lot less stressful. But writing does take time. Good writing takes time. Honing in on your ideas takes time. So I guess that makes sense. But I genuinely thought I was going to hate this day. I thought I was going to dread it. But again, we're only like 3 hours into it. We're at the top of the 4th hour. So maybe I'm speaking too soon. Maybe around the end of the day, I'm going to hate it and be miserable and be ready to be done. But right now I'm really enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun just sitting in my world and spending time with my characters and telling myself the story in this first draft. So I think, oh, it's 11:11. I love when that happens. I think since I just did about an hour, 20 minutes of writing and a little light research as I wrote, I am going to take a wee break. I kind of want to make more coffee. I kind of want to shower. Like, I want to be cozy today, but I just need something to, like, reset. And I just need to be up and around and not at my computer all day. I think I need to throw some laundry in, and then I'll get back to writing shortly after that. All right, so after updating you guys, taking out the dog, starting some laundry, it's already 11:30. This challenge is definitely making me more aware of how fast an hour goes by. So I think I'm going to make myself write and then take another break at the noon hour to shower and make some lunch because I really want to prioritize word count today. So let's get back to writing. Alrighty, it is now noon. I just clocked in 839 words for that 30-minute writing session during the 11 o'clock hour. And our writing total for the day is now at 1,577 words. We're going to take a little break, eat some lunch, get more coffee, take a quick shower, and try and do probably a shorter writing session during this 12 o'clock hour. But once we get there, we still have like 8 hours left. I feel like I'm finally starting to warm up. My word count is going up for shorter writing sessions. I feel good about the progress that I'm making in these chapters. It feels a little less difficult to write them. So yeah, still no complaints so far about this challenge. It was needed, I think. We'll see what I think at the end, but I'm gonna go do those things. Oh gosh, I totally just started with this up here and then I slowly put it down in my lap. So we'll see what the audio is like for that section of the video. I just need to get like a good mic for my camera. God. All right, it is 12:52. I am post shower. I made coffee. I made lunch, and I was just like trying to eat my lunch and vibe. But I realized that the hour is almost over, and I still haven't written any words. And I that is this challenge. I need to write some words, even if it's only for a minute. It's only a line, so I'm gonna squeeze that in really quick. Crazy how fast an hour goes by. Okay, so something kind of crazy just happened where I started writing my noon hour in the last 5 minutes of the hour, and then I just kept going, and now it's 2 o'clock. So I have no idea what I just wrote for noon. I imagine it wasn't that many words in only 5 minutes. But in the last hour that I just like blazed through, like I feel like I just blinked and it was 2 o'clock. I ended up writing, and this is that 5 minutes plus the hour, 1,902 words. So I wrote about 2,000 words in an hour, a little over an hour. That's kind of crazy. My food is definitely now cold. That's kind of insane to me. But I just did 2,000 words in an hour. I don't think I've ever written that fast, but I don't know if I've ever written that fast. And I still have more words left in me and a lot of hours left since it's only 2 o'clock. I also just worked on a scene that was more intense than I expected it to be. So like it was kind of a bridge to a new scene. There's kind of a journey aspect to this story, and I was trying to figure out like, how is this character going to get to this next place? And I just wrote that scene, and it came out a lot more intense with more stakes, I hope. In my head, I was like watching it, writing it. It seemed high stakes, so we'll see what happens when I go back and read it, if it's as intense as I pictured it this first write through. I am wondering though if this character spent too little time in the place they were just in. So during developmental, I feel like I'll have to add some, I don't know, scenes in there, maybe full chapters, make sure the point is getting across of that section of the book, make sure the pacing's there. In terms of this first draft, it's really exciting that we are now through that section, because that was kind of a rough section for me to write, and now I'm in the really exciting part, and I got like a whole new chapter out of that. Like, I thought the transition would be in the previous chapter that I was working on, just as like a new scene, but no, it ended up being a full chapter. That chapter is like just under 2,000 words itself, so that's cool. I think I'm gonna have to add, I'm not sure, I'm gonna have to look over my story so far and see if I need to add another chapter, or if I was like switching POVs and scene hopping in the next chapter. I don't know if I've talked about this with you guys at all yet, but I didn't like strictly outline my chapters when I made my outline. I mostly went by scenes. So I don't actually know how many chapters I have total until I am done with this first draft. Just part of being a newbie writer, I think, who is a plotting pantser discovery writer at this time. So that'll be interesting for developmental edits to see what scenes need to go where, because I've noticed, and I've kind of fiddled around a little bit with this, like some scenes need to go in the previous chapter or the next chapter. So that'll be fun to deal with in developmental edits. But anyway, we're making really good progress. I don't feel like too burned out by this. If anything, my word count is just like upping every hour, which is cool to see. Okay, I think I'm just gonna take a wee break, actually finish my lunch that is now cold. My coffee is also cold. Watch a little YouTube while I finish that, and then we'll start writing again. Okay, I'm not sure what happened, but I just got so cold. Also, I'm kind of starting to hit my wall for the day. It is 2:44. Hi, darling. I hope you guys just heard that. I think I'm gonna take her outside really quick.
1 hour later.
It is now 3:03. I just got back from my walk with Athena. We did not write during the 2 o'clock hour. Oops. But we're just gonna scratch that one. I'm not gonna add another hour because I'm already feeling burnt out. I do need to write during this 3 o'clock hour though. We didn't do it during the 2 o'clock. We'll get some done now. So good. Okay. Time for a little writing update. It is just before 5 o'clock, so it's been a minute. I wrote a lot more than I thought I did during the 3 o'clock hour because I did not write for the full hour. In the 3 o'clock hour, I wrote 994 words, just shy of 1,000. I did not think it was that. I felt like it was a couple hundred, but then when I did the math, I was like, oh, dang, my math is off somewhere. I did something wrong. I think I wrote around 500-ish words. We might not be able to keep this tally update anymore. Anyway, I'm now in the section where I thought I would be excited, and I think I'm just starting to get burned out and tired. I do have a couple more hours left. I'm no longer excited to write these chapters, but again, I think I'm just tired. I'm also realizing that in this chapter, I am switching back and forth between the two POVs a lot, and that was not something I thought I was going to do. So then after that, I'm gonna have to figure out whose POV I'm going to predominantly write from when they're together. Guys, the end of this draft is so close, but this first draft is quickly coming to an end. It's crazy. I am definitely missing a lot of stuff, a lot of details. I think I'm missing chapters as well that will end up boosting the word count, but I'm wondering if we're even going to get to 40,000 by the end of this first draft. I don't think I'm going to finish it today. We'll see what my output is in the next few hours. Also, my desk mat has been ruined. I left a hot pink post-it note on here and it must have gotten wet and now it has stained my pretty green computer mat, and I've only had this mat for a year, and the other side is corkboard, so like sure I could flip it, but it's not as cute, so that's really sad. Okay, we're about to enter 6 o'clock. I have lost so much motivation to write. I only wrote like a couple 100 words, 150 words maybe. I have been looking at other stuff. I have been deep diving into some source references for my story, which is helpful. I woke up super burnt out. I think I've just been working a lot. So I am a little disappointed that I'm not at a higher word count for today. I was hoping to at least hit 5,000. Somewhere in my idealistic brain, I was like, maybe I could hit 10,000 or something crazy like 8,000. And we are dragging along. Our total, we're only sitting at 3,381 words. And I say only as if it's insignificant, though this is like a good week's worth of writing for me in a busy week. Time does not always equal productivity or like a huge output. So just because I'm sitting here and focusing on my book for 12 hours with breaks does not mean I'm going to make insane progress. It's 6 o'clock and I'm so ready to just eat dinner, but we are going to stick with the challenge. Here we go. 2 more hours. This was a terrible idea. I'm so tired. I'm tired of this, Grandpa. All right, it's officially 8 o'clock. We made it. We did it. Wow. We are ending the day with 5,061 words. I think I just finished another chapter. The chapter was like 2,480 words. So my last writing session was actually very good. I just worked all the way through. From that 6:30 to 7 to this 8 o'clock mark. It was definitely rough in the middle there. Definitely had my doubts, but I guess if you just sit and push through, like, you'll get somewhere. I mean, that was kind of worth it now. It's kind of euphoric. I'm like really happy that I accomplished that, and I didn't expect to reach 5,000 words today. So I still feel like I wasn't super productive, or like I could have been more productive. We are that much closer to finishing our first draft. I'm trying to think of how many chapters I have. I could just look at it, but I know there's something I'm referring to as the in scene coming up. I need to add to the masquerade scene, that whole transition, a little bit more. I could add to that. That might be saved for the second draft. And then there's definitely, I think I only have like 5 major like scenes chapters left right now. I would probably say chapters because there are like more scenes within those things that need to happen. We are so close. That middle part of the day was really miserable and I wanted to stop and just relax, but I'm really glad that we pushed through. Holy crap, I feel like if I did another one of these big writing days, like I would finish it, but maybe we won't be that crazy. Maybe we'll just like try and get it done in little bits and chunks. October is very close to ending. It is the 27th of October, which means I have less than a month, but it's still like closer to a month before my goal. I think we're gonna end this vlog here. We survived, we did it. We wrote for 12-ish hours. I don't know how people do that 24-hour writing or reading challenge. Like, that just sounds miserable. Till next time, guys. Cheers.